Our love of promoting amazing arts and culture in the region is matched only in our love of cheerleading local businesses and the passionate individuals who bring them to life. Today, we're excited to take you inside Stave Cork, a charming wine bar nestled inside downtown Salem, Virginia. Opened by Susan and Bobby Baker in September 2023, Stave Cork offers an exceptional wine tasting experience with a focus on small, family-run wineries from around the world. Whether you're a wine connoisseur or just beginning to explore the world of wine, this cozy little spot promises something special for everyone. Today we're chatting with Bobby Baker about the journey, their carefully curated wine selections, and the community they've cultivated at Stave Cork. Let's raise a glass and dive in. Thank you, Bobby, for being here with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Very glad to have you here. And I'm curious, so, this is part of our May-June feature featuring you guys, and so we're excited to bring that piece to life and learn even more about sort of this beautiful little wine bar inside Salem. And just sort of wondering what inspired you and Susan what was the concept behind this? What made you really want to launch this business?
It's, I guess, a multi-pronged concept in terms of the way to answer your question. First and foremost, when we were dating, and even since while we've been married, one of the things we've enjoyed is going to wineries throughout wherever we happen to be, exploring the winery, finding out about the winery itself, and then, of course, tasting wine.
The fun part.
The fun part, right. And whenever we were there, we were always talking and back and forth about if this was ours, how would we make the tasting room different? How would we do things different from just a physical location perspective? We don't know how to make wine. We never explored that part, but we thought about the physical space. And so we always talked about that for, well over 15 years now. And so that's one piece of it is, just enjoying the space, enjoying the vibe of wineries and just that relaxation concept and seeing what everybody else has done and picking apart what they've done and how we might do something a little different. So that's one part of it. Another part of it is when I went back to grad school, I had a class that I had to write a business plan for. And so we were talking about something like this at that time, and Virginia was exploring some different ABC potential changes. And so I just made that the business model or business plan, if you will, kind of what I had to do for my class. And so it ended up being about 80% of where we're at now.
I love that you had to do the work anyway. You might as well, execute the plan.
do something I wanted to do or was looking forward to do as opposed to just something fictitious, if you will.
Yeah, and I love that you guys really brought your own passions into it too. This is something you enjoy doing. Why couldn't we help others enjoy that too?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And then the last part of it is we've recently become empty nesters, and we were looking at how do we maybe restart our lives. What do we do different? And we explored a couple different thoughts there to include potentially moving out of the area, moving somewhere completely new and starting over. And we decided to pull this out, dust the idea off, and see if we can make a go of it instead.
Well, I think Salem thanks you for that. So are you guys from the area or live in Salem?
We live in Salem.
Okay.
We've both been in Salem for now, I guess, 20 years or so. Neither one of us grew up in Salem, but we've been here for, like I said, for a while now.
Great. And we'll talk about that community building in a little bit. But in thinking about the wineries itself, so really part of the article readers will learn about is that you focus on small family-run wineries. They're often female-led. And so I know that you mentioned Susan is sort of our wine connoisseur. Thinking about your selection process, why supporting those kinds of wineries is so important to you both?
It really kind of fits our business. Being a small family-run organization, local, even on our shirts that we sell in our shop, eat, drink, shop local. So it's that same mindset, that same approach. Every business started small somewhere. Amazon started out of a garage. Microsoft started out of a garage. We didn't start in a garage.
That's a different kind of wine brewing.
Different kind of wine drinking. But it's that same mindset of how do we? People are helping us start our business. The community, not only the Salem community, but the wine community has really reached out and been very supportive. And we want to do the same. How do we highlight and put the spotlight on businesses, wineries that are up and coming and can be the next big name potential that you might see on every shelf or that's on promoted on lots of different places. The only way we're going to get there and the only way they're going to get there is to support each other and of course get each other's name out and more.
I love that. I love that. You're friends and neighbors too, so exactly. That's fantastic. And Virginia is really on the rise, maybe even already at the top, for being known for great wine. I mean, that's really interesting, I think, from how far we've come in terms of what's offered throughout the state, not just our region, but just, how many opportunities there are to enjoy local wines too. So that's really neat.
Yeah, that's one of the facets of our business model also is to highlight Virginia wines. We do wine tastings because of the way our business structure is. We're able to offer wine tastings every day that we're open. So we typically have at least 12 or more bottles open for tastings. We curate those into flights. We purposely name it that way to a degree. Everybody, most places when you go somewhere they call it a
you
flight.
Recognize it instantly now.
You recognize it, but we think about it from the perspective not so much as just that name, but that it's the opportunity to travel somewhere without traveling.
I love that as somebody who's an anxious traveler. So that works out perfectly for me.
Yeah. So our flights we have a local flight, what we call the local flight, which is Virginia-based wines. The only thing that's on it's going to be Virginia-based wines, and we do that throughout all of Virginia. We're getting ready to highlight Southwest Virginia.
Excellent.
Wines. And right now, currently, the wines we're pouring are from the Charlottesville area. We've done Northern Virginia up around Loudoun County, Fairfax, and we move all around. We do the same thing for domestic wines. Wines, all things non-Virginia in the United States, and we go different places and parts to find and curate those. And then same thing for international. Again, that opportunity to go in, at least from your tasting buds perspective, go to another country and taste the wines that they offer, or a representative of the wines they offer, without necessarily traveling to South Africa or New Zealand, et cetera, and seeing, hey, so they really make some great stuff I never knew, or trying some things. We just did Sonoma and Napa. Tremendous amount of wines to choose from, and there's some wonderful names and outstanding wines there. But again, that small family-run business model that we talked about, it allows us to get down in the weeds a little more and probably offer wines that you've never heard of.
Well, that was sort of what I was thinking of. I love that I, as a consumer, have an opportunity to taste a wine that I might never otherwise get a chance to, or not even see it on a shelf or think about, I really want to try that. I love the idea of the flights so that you get to try a little bit of something, everything, which is a great seg because you're offering 3 themed wine flights each month. A significant portion of those wines change regularly, like you were saying. And so, how do you decide on themes and select the wines? Because I'm sure you're getting tons of people, please check out my wine and learn about it. I mean, how do you narrow it down to these themes? Well,
in Virginia, of course, we have to work through the distributors with the Virginia ABC laws. But Susan, my wife, does all of that. She's true 100% operations for our place, and she's truly the wine connoisseur of the family, if you will. And so she does all of that. And as you said, we trade out all of our tasting flights every month. So the first Wednesday of every month, our tasting flights are 100% new. So if you came in in a year's time and tasted just our flights, you're going to get about 144 wines in a year to try. And so curating those, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
And really it boils down to doing some research as to who has what with not only the distributors, but also where would I want to go? what is good potentially this time of year? If I was going to travel.
That's a good note, yeah.
If I was going to travel, would this be a good time to go to South Italy, or would this be a better time to go to France, or maybe Australia at the moment because they're having their summer versus our winter, or whatever? If I was going to travel, what time of year and when would I want to go to this place or the other? And thinking about that. Also, that challenge is trying to create some difference between what we're offering. We don't want to offer that same, I'll call it one note concept, even though it's an international versus a domestic. We want something that's very, very different, if at all possible, between all of our flights, so that if you try them, you're truly getting significant differences whenever possible. We would rarely, if ever, are going to offer, say, 3 Chardonnays or 3 Cab Sauv, kind of things across the 3 flights. We do occasionally, just if nothing else, to show the true differences that a winemaker can make in the same grape.
That's interesting too.
A concept. Not only, of course, there's all kinds of other things that influence that, of course, but the winemaker is probably the biggest influence. And so to be able to showcase the talents of a winemaker here versus somewhere else, and show how they can take that same grape profile and make it so vastly different. That's a big part of what Susan does, working with our distributors to figure out where we want to go, what do we want to taste, how do we want to curate the flights in terms of what we want on it, and then again highlighting different places, organizations, wineries, and more.
There's so much thought that goes into that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not like, we just feel like doing this today, you know? I mean, there's a lot of planning involved with
We
that.
have a map on the, I always tease her, I said, we have a map on that where we put pins where we're doing current
That's a good
tastings and
idea to
past
keep track of
tastings. to do that, to keep track. I always tease her about just stepping back with the dartboard concept.
Yeah.
But so far, she hasn't gotten to that.
Well, you know, maybe in the future. But, you know, I'm sure that there are many wines or flights that you love that you'd like to revisit down the road that, you know, maybe somebody didn't get a chance to try before or anything like that.
Yeah, actually, we were just discussing that the other day about we did that back in December, and we're potentially going to do that upcoming in maybe July of what we call the best of 24
Great
concept
idea.
to say, look, here's the wines that everybody over the first 6 months said you really liked. Hey, what do we sell a lot of? Because you really liked them. Let's bring them back, give you the opportunity to retaste those. And because especially when maybe I'll use my example of the Chardonnay earlier. You really liked this Chardonnay and you liked this other one back in March. Well, let's bring them back together and give you the opportunity potentially to taste two wines that you really enjoyed all on the same flight.
Yeah, see, I love that too. And I'm sure you've cultivated a really wonderful crowd of, you know, people who come every time, who want to be there every single month to try the new flight.
We've got folks that literally come in. We've got a couple of specifically, I won't name them, that they the first Wednesday of every month they come in, and the first thing they do is order a charcuterie board and all 3 flights, and we're like, all right, we're going to get it out of the way and taste them.
First of all, that's the perfect Wednesday night, I have to say. But secondly, like, what a wonderful way that you've provided them a space to come and play and enjoy, and also, of course, support local, because those are the people who want to be there and they want to support you. So that's really neat. And I'm sure that is there anything you want to say to them, I guess, is another good question.
No question. We definitely have started to get our regulars, if you will, and to your point, they're not only the backbone, but more importantly, they're our sounding board.
Yeah.
And not only how could we do things different, but they're the ones that are enjoying it enough that they're going out and telling all their friends and family, you got to come see us. And we can't thank them enough for that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And, you know, in creating this space, you're encouraging kind of personal discovery, conversation about wine, what you love, what you'd like to try next. How do you engage with your customers, the ones that we're just talking about too, are, you know, who might be new to wine tasting? Maybe they're unsure about trying something different. You know, I like, you know, Prosecco, but I don't love an oaky Chardonnay. Like, how do you convince me to try something new, get out of my comfort zone?
Honestly, Susan and our staff do that
Okay.
absolutely wonderfully. It's that engagement. She comes from a customer service background, and so she does a great job, as well as all of our staff do a great job of interacting with the customer to really, if I'm new to wine or I only like X. Well, we don't have X. Are you willing to try?
You don't have my $8 bottle from...
Yeah. So, look here, just taste this and see if you like it concept. And again, the flight gives them an opportunity, unlike a lot of other places that we can buy wine here in the area, to walk in and not only buy a bottle of wine to go home with, but before you buy that bottle, instead of just relying on it's pretty, or I like the label, or I recognize the name of the grape, like a Cab Sav or something, you can actually taste it and decide, yes, I do like that wine, or no, that's not for me.
Right.
And, we'll work with individuals if they're not sure what they want to do. And we try to have some other things that are not necessarily within our typical flights for someone that's brand new to wine, maybe a sweeter wine or something available also. Again, it's just having the conversation.
Yeah,
Just say,
I love
what do you
that,
like?
that personalization, the customization, however you want to word it, because I can't tell you how many times I've bought a bottle of wine and I go home like, well, this isn't, as I didn't love it as much as I love the label, as you pointed out.
And to your point there, one of the things we refer to as flying solo, we talked about those 3 flight levels. We've got folks that come in, I only drink red wine or I only drink white wine. Okay, pick whites, pick reds. We'll let you mix and match off of our flights to meet your palate. If you don't like white wine or you don't like red wine, I'm not going to make you drink it, but I want you to have a pleasant experience.
Very low pressure,
so,
okay.
Yeah, pick 4 wines that off of our flight menu, and we'll pour them for you.
Right.
And I think that's also a great way that, to your question, was how do we make it to where people can find something they enjoy, even though they typically only drink X concept.
Yeah. And so you mentioned charcuterie. I got to go back to this because that's basically my full adult meal. I love charcuterie boards so very much. But you also feature paninis. You have like a menu of all these different items. And so the paninis were something that we were talking about in the feature. And I love this, that you're naming them after local hikes. You're emphasizing local ingredients because, again, that cheerleading of our local community is so important. But let's talk about the local community influence on your menu. Like, how do you approach that when it comes to your menu at Stave Cork?
Well, again, we want to be part of the community, and what better way? One of the things the valley is recognized for, all the way down, up and down, if you will, is the mountains that we live in. Being in between the two mountain ranges is huge. It's a wonderful draw. The outdoors is a big part of Roanoke and the Roanoke Valley. Why not showcase and bring a little bit of the outdoors to a degree, name it only. I go to a winery to sit and enjoy the outdoors, but not necessarily hike it. So I understand. Yeah, and we do now have outdoor space. But to your question about the naming, it's about showcasing and again being part of the community, showcasing our community and the things it offers. We don't have necessarily the greatest views that some of the wineries have. They're going to beat us hands down on the views, but you only get to taste their wines, where you can taste all kinds of other wines.
That's a really great point. Yeah.
And so if I can showcase other things about our community, such as naming our sandwiches after hiking trails and things of that nature, I think it just makes us, again, part of the community and helping showcase the Roanoke Valley and more.
Well, we're not quite close to lunch, but I always want to talk about food. So tell me about your menu. What's some of your favorite items on it, or maybe your favorite panini that you just love to have yourself?
Well, we've got the charcuterie boards, like we said,
my fave.
And we'll work with individuals for gluten-free and all kinds of things of that nature. We've got a couple different dips that we offer. Susan makes a homemade jalapeno pimento cheese spread or dip, if you will. We've also got some hummuses as well that we offer, and then occasionally she'll make a smoked trout dip that we offer not every day, but usually every other weekend or so. That has so far been a pretty good highlight. And of course, back to we're in trout country again, trying to highlight that as well. To your question about the paninis, we offer a couple of different ones and again, trying to showcase local ingredients whenever possible. But as specifically your question, one we have that I enjoy is called a Peaks of Otter. It's our play on a Cuban sandwich. So we use actually pulled pork, smoked pulled pork for the pork itself, and then the pickles and and mustard, etc.
It's my husband's favorite sandwich. He's already at the door waiting for you to open right now at that statement. That's terrific.
We open at 12.
Yeah, okay, got it. We'll be there. Well, what a wonderful way to enjoy, local ingredients as well as your wine. I mean, there's nothing better than sitting there and enjoying a nice bite. And you've had me totally full in at jalapeno pimento, delicious. I'm ready for lunch now. So, in part of the atmosphere, in addition to the great menu, you are honoring your building's history. You're avoiding distractions like TV and Wi-Fi. I personally thank you for that because you just sort of reach for your phone without thinking all the time. And so I'm curious about the feedback you've received from customers about this, because I hope that they see it as a wonderful break from sort of online reality, I guess.
Yeah, actually, though, to your point, the overwhelming majority of our folks are definitely appreciative and say positive things, that we don't have the distractions of the TV or the noise of some of those things. Same thing for the Wi-Fi. We do have people come in, of course, that would like to enjoy that or like to partake in that. But we've only had a handful, if that, actually say anything in a negative light.
Yeah.
We just tell them that we don't have it, and it's like, oh. Okay.
Right. I guess I'll sit here and drink my wine and enjoy the sandwich.
I'll sit here and enjoy, et cetera. And, and so we've got people that really, to your point, I think really enjoy the fact that we don't have that. And what our hope and goal is not only enjoying, of course, our atmosphere, the wine and the food, but really each other's company. Not having a conversation with a screen back and forth across a table that I can literally touch you, but we're still texting each other.
It's wild. I'm sure you guys go to different places and you're like, oh, these people are on their phones. And granted, that's fine. But to think about you offering an opportunity to really sit and talk to the person you're with, or even, I'm one of those people who will sit at the bar and talk to the person next to me, even if I don't know them. And next thing you know, we're friends. And so you're cultivating community in that way too.
Yeah. And, the aspects of the TVs, we've gotten a little feedback here and there about some of the
maybe just on football
games
Saturday
or
afternoons.
whatever. But we're surrounded by some other organizations, other establishments that have TVs and that sports bar kind of theme. That's not us. That's
Yeah.
not what the vibe that we want to portray. It's not, and we want you to have that conversation. We want you to be relaxed and to your point, kind of unplugged a little bit.
Well, I think that term is very specific, relaxed. I mean, that's exactly what you want to be when you're, drinking a glass of wine and sitting talking about your day or whatever. So I think that's perfect. And then you guys are looking at, enriching your experience, maybe future events or gatherings. What does that maybe look like in the future coming soon?
Well, actually, a couple would be, and I'll use examples of ones we've done that I think would showcase potentials going forward. We just finished, we did a Kentucky Derby watch party.
Cool.
So I did bring in a TV or a projector, and we had about 70 people that showed up dressed like they were going to the Derby.
Fantastic.
The hats and the seersuckers and more. And we invited, our wine club members and and more. And anybody was welcome. You just had to sign up. But we hope to do more things like that in the future as well. It's kind of special event kind of things.
Sure.
But also we continue to partner with a couple of different other businesses. We've just finished a murder mystery. Where we highlighted the murder mystery concept. We've done that twice now in our back room, if you will.
Was that with Jump Into Mystery?
I believe so. Yeah.
Really popular.
Yeah, and that's going over really well. And then
Great.
We've got another lady that we've partnered with to offer kind of an art and wine night concept for everything from some painting nights. Some other stuff was planting of some doing some planters and different things, and just occasionally having an opportunity to come in and do a little crafty project that you can take home.
I love that.
Maybe drink a glass or two of wine while you're doing it. Again, maybe share a charcuterie board in the process.
You're describing like the perfect Friday night. I love that.
That's that. So we're hoping to increase our, continue to do things like that and look for other opportunities to, let people come in and do something a little bit different other than just, we love the opportunity to just sit and relax, right?
Right.
But some people just want to have that little extra piece.
Sure.
And that's fine. And we want to continue to explore that.
Well, and again, you're building community. You're working with other local businesses to promote them. So, I mean, it's a win-win all around.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
And we just opened our outdoor seating in the alley. And so we're hoping to see how that plays and see what we can figure out to explore the utilization of that for things like what you just mentioned as well.
Well, it sounds like you've got a lot of good, exciting things coming down the pipeline for sure.
We're trying.
Yeah. And so let's give a shout out to the Salem community, because how's that reception been so far?
Oh, outstanding. One of the biggest things, not only the community itself, but first and foremost, some of the other businesses and business owners specifically from the downtown community and the Salem community itself have just been phenomenal.
It's a very tight-knit community.
It is a very tight-knit community. And, I won't name them, but there's other business persons that own their own place that I see quite frequently in our place. And I love that piece. And, of course, we frequent their place too.
Right.
But, that kind of support has meant a lot. But the community itself has been spectacular. Everybody has been just very positive. Again, back to our customer base, talking and even telling people and getting the word out with their friends and family, both here in the community and beyond. It's just meant the world, and that's how we continue to build our base. We can't survive without our community. Plain and simple.
Right.
We want to support our community, but we also can't survive without them. And so, Salem and the Roanoke area has been really, really good about supporting us, and we continue to have people drive from distances that I would have never thought.
Yeah, I believe that for sure. Okay, so last question. It is our bonus question we ask everybody, but whether it's in Salem or not, but where are you and Susan or your family when they're visiting? Where are you guys loving to eat, play, go throughout our region?
At the end of the day, we're doing what we try to promote, that eat, drink local, kind of thing. So the other local businesses are what I call non-chain. I do that when I travel for my full-time job. I try to focus on that same piece, and so I do the same thing when I'm at home. If I'm going to go eat somewhere, I try to really focus on a non-chain environment, whether that's a Mac and Bob's or Our Daily Bread, or pick your name, Montano's and more.
Yeah, you're listing all my favorites.
Yeah, we try to support, not only have they been supportive of us, but we want to continue. Long before our stuff, we were supportive of them, and it's that same process. Eat, drink, shop local. It's that same piece. While there's a lot of change out there, of course, we really enjoy. We try really hard to make our majority, especially when we have friends and family coming from out of town, if you want to go to a chain, you can do that in your town. Let's go
Right,
somewhere
sure.
fun and local and get things maybe you can't get somewhere else.
Get a little slice of our Southwest Virginia life.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up our segment here?
No, I can't. Not off the top of my head. Other than we greatly appreciate the Roanoker magazine and the opportunity to be not only do the podcast, but of course the article itself. We've had nothing but positive comments as a result of that, and that's been phenomenal. So we greatly appreciate the opportunity.
Well, thank you for allowing us a peek into your space, because there's so much more than what we can share in 1,200 words. So certainly we appreciate the opportunity, and I can't wait to come enjoy a charcuterie board and try all these different flights of wine. That's going to be really exciting and delicious, and I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Looking forward to having you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, that was Bobby Baker, co-owner of Salem, Virginia's Stave Cork, for joining us on From Print to Podcast. He and Susan's passion for wine and their commitment to creating a welcoming community space truly shines through. Whether you're in the mood to discover a new favorite wine or enjoy a delicious panini, Stave Cork offers a unique experience right in the heart of downtown Salem. Be sure to stop by and taste the difference for yourself at 115 East Main Street in Salem, or learn more at their website at staveandcork.com. Thanks again for being on our show today. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
You can read our feature on Stave Cork and so much more in our May-June issue on newsstands now, or you can head on over and always read more at theroanoker.com.